All right, we're about to dive into a historical mystery that has, and I'm not exaggerating, fueled centuries of debate and literally helped shape the identity of an entire nation. And it all kicks off with one simple-sounding question. Seems simple enough, right? But oh no. The answer to this question is so incredibly contested, it has actually pitted historians and even whole nations against each other for generations. And this isn't just some dusty old academic argument we're talking about. This is a fierce, passionate debate. It's been raging for centuries, and it really gets to the very heart of a national story. But here's the part that makes this a true historical puzzle, the real head-scratcher. Both sides, they're looking at the exact same evidence. We're talking the same Roman coins, the same ancient pottery, the same historical records, and yet they come to completely opposite conclusions. I mean, how is that even possible? Okay, let's open up our first case file. This is what's known as the Daco-Roman continuity theory. And it's so much more than just a historical argument. For many, it's really the cornerstone of modern Romanian identity. So the whole theory really hinges on this timeline. Check it out. In 1060 AD, the Roman Empire conquers a province they call Dacia. For the next 165 years, you have this period of really intense Roman influence. Then, in 271 AD, the Roman administration and army officially pull out. Now, the key argument here is that 165 years, that's a long time. It's more than enough time to fundamentally change a place. And its people, forever. So we hear this word Romanization, but what does that really mean on the ground? Well, it's not just about soldiers and forts. We're talking about a complete cultural transformation. The local Dacian population, they started speaking Latin, they adopted Roman customs, even their religion. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they were becoming Roman. Okay, so this theory basically boils down to a few key claims. First, that today's Romanians are the direct descendants of those Romanized Dacians. This means they've lived in this exact territory continuously ever since Roman times. And when the Roman legions left, well, this Latin-speaking population didn't just pack up and disappear. The argument is they found refuge up in the Carpathian Mountains, kind of a natural fortress. And there, they held on, preserving their Latin-based language and their culture all through the really chaotic migration period. But of course, every good mystery has a competing theory, right? So let's open case file number 2, the migration theory. And this one, well, it tells a radically different story. And here you can see the two ideas side by side. It's a total clash. On one hand, you have an indigenous population with an unbroken presence since antiquity. On the other, you have a community that migrated into the area much, much later, from the Balkans during the Middle Ages. It's basically a debate between we never left versus we arrived later. So what are the core claims of this theory? Well, it argues that the ancestors of the Romanians weren't even in Dacia after the Romans left, not at all. Instead, they were living south of the Danube River on the Balkan Peninsula. And it was only later, during the Middle Ages, that they migrated north into a territory that this theory claims had become largely empty. Now, it's worth noting, this viewpoint is typically supported by Hungarian and some other Western historians. So there you have it. Two completely opposing theories, both trying to explain the same history, using the very same set of clues. Which brings us right back to that central puzzle. How can that possibly be? This breakdown really clarifies the battle lines perfectly. The core idea, its continuous presence in Dacia versus a migration from the Balkans. The key time period, we're talking an ancient story versus a medieval one. And the main proponents? Well, you often see Romanian historians on one side and Hungarian and other Western historians on the other. And this historical deadlock, it's not really just about Romania anymore. It kind of forces us to confront a much, much deeper issue, which is how we even think about the past itself. So the goal here today isn't to try and decide which theory is right, and frankly, the evidence is just too incomplete for anyone to do that with 100% certainty. Instead, this whole debate, it's an amazing case study that lets us ask a much deeper question. And that question is this. How do we approach the past when our historical and archaeological evidence is incomplete and when it's wide open to more than one interpretation? You see, this challenge, it's not unique to Romanian history at all. It's at the very heart of how we try to understand where all of us come from. It's a good reminder that history isn't always a book of clean, neat answers. A lot of the time, it's a continuous, passionate, and ongoing debate about who we are. Definitely something to think about.